Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something huge coming out of India. It's a plan that could fundamentally change how we own things, letting you buy a piece of almost anything you can imagine. Let's get right into it.
So let's start with a really interesting thought experiment. What if you could own a tiny fraction of a skyscraper in Mumbai, or a sliver of a valuable government bond, as easily as you buy a share on the stock market? Well, this isn't science fiction anymore. It's the future that India is actively building right now.
And the key to unlocking this future? It's a brand new platform called the Unified Markets Interface, or UMI for short. India's central bank just unveiled it, and believe me, it is a massive deal that has the potential to completely reshape the financial world as we know it.
Okay, so what exactly is this Unified Markets Interface? Let's break down what the Reserve Bank of India announced.
So the RBI Governor dropped this news at a major fintech conference, and he didn't mince words. He called it a next-generation platform. But what does that really mean? Well, its core mission is to make financial markets way more efficient, totally transparent, and much more liquid. And listen, these aren't just buzzwords. We're talking about a complete overhaul of the financial plumbing to make trades faster, cheaper, and more secure for everyone involved. Now, the real engine humming under the hood of UME is this powerful concept called asset tokenization. To really get what UME is all about, you first have to understand this. To put it really simply, asset tokenization is like creating a super secure digital certificate of ownership for a real-world thing. And that digital proof, that token, gets recorded on a blockchain, which is basically a digital ledger that's almost impossible to tamper with. So here's how it works in practice. You start with something really valuable but traditionally hard to trade, like a massive corporate bond or a commercial building. Then you digitally slice its value into thousands of tiny tradable tokens. Each one of those tokens gets logged on the blockchain and bam! Suddenly that big, clunky asset can be bought and sold instantly by pretty much anyone.
So, why is this such a game changer? Well, first off, fractional ownership. It means you don't need millions of dollars to invest in prime real estate anymore. Everything becomes way more liquid because you can trade these tokens 24/7. And on top of all that, with every single transaction recorded for everyone to see, the whole system becomes incredibly transparent and way more efficient.
Okay, so you've got all these digital tokens flying around the market, but for this to work, you need an equally digital, secure, and instant way to actually pay for them.
And this right here is where India's masterstroke comes into play. The entire UMI platform is going to run on the official digital rupee, the country's central bank digital currency. This isn't some private crypto, okay? This is central bank issued money in a digital form, which makes it about as secure as it gets.
Now, here's a really crucial point. There are actually two different types of the digital rupee. There's the retail version, which is for you and me to, buy coffee, but UMI uses the wholesale version. Think of this as the heavy-duty engine, built specifically for massive, high-speed transactions between banks and other big financial institutions.
And this isn't just a theory they're hoping will work. The RBI has already run successful pilot programs with this wholesale digital currency, and the results? They were incredibly promising. They proved the system works, that it reduces risk, and that it makes the whole market run a lot smoother.
All right, so let's zoom out a little and look at the big picture. What is the real-world impact of building out this massive new piece of financial infrastructure? This initiative is truly transformative. It's not just an update, it's a leap forward. It fully modernizes India's financial markets, making them more transparent and efficient than ever. It also paves the way for easier global trading. But maybe the biggest win of all is financial inclusion. It's about giving regular or small-time investors access to a world of assets that were previously way out of their reach. Now, it's really important to understand that this UMI project isn't just happening in a vacuum. Nope, it's actually a key piece in a much bigger strategic puzzle that India has been putting together for years. It's being built on top of already successful projects like the Account Aggregator framework. Think of this as a system that already lets millions of people securely share their financial data between different banks and apps, creating this foundation of trust that UMI can now plug right into. And just look at the scale we're talking about here. As of 2025, the system already has 17 registered aggregators. These are the pipes that make all that data sharing happen. And it's not some small club either. It's being used by over 650 financial institutions. We're talking major banks, lenders, the whole shebang. And here's the most mind-blowing number. It's already serving over 160 million linked accounts, processing billions of data requests. This isn't a pilot program. This is a massive, functioning digital backbone that new innovations like UMI are now being built on.
And the pace of innovation is just accelerating. At the very same event where they announced UMI, the RBI also dropped 4 other major fintech products. They're clearly not resting on their laurels.
I mean, just look at this lineup. You've got an AI assistant to help with your payment questions, a system that lets your smart devices, like your car or your fridge, make payments automatically, new platforms for smoother online banking. India is going all in on building the future of finance.
And this quote from the RBI governor really says it all. This isn't just an incremental update. This is a complete, fundamental reimagining of what a financial market can and should be. So when you put all of this together, the big takeaway is this. UMI is so much more than just a new piece of tech. It's a cornerstone of India's grand vision for a digital economy that is more open, more efficient, and, most importantly, accessible to everyone.
And that leaves us with one last and kind of fun question to think about. In this future that's rapidly approaching, a future where almost anything can be split up into tiny pieces and traded, what asset would you want to own a piece of first? A famous landmark? A rare painting? The possibilities are really just beginning to unfold.